School of Rock Stars wants to join in. All right, let's give it a shot. School of Rock Stars. What's up? Alex is getting hot. You
Oh
want?
my God, can I show them an amazing snap I did?
No.
It's pretty awesome.
No, we're good.
It's pretty awesome.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Like, I have a question. Yesterday, I spoke with my friend. Like, she's already married,
Okay.
and like, she's telling her problem. Like, she wants to do a job, but like, she's not getting support from her husband, it seems. And also, like, she advised her to speak with her brother and dad.
Okay.
So, she told, like, I already told, they already know the situation, that my husband is not listening to anyone's, like, he is not listening to any other people, like,
Okay.
and he is not at all supportive. But she wants to, like, do something with her life.
Yeah.
Like, what advice you can give and I can give to her?
So the worst thing, I think, in a relationship is to be with somebody who doesn't support what you want to do. Just like being in a job, the worst thing you can have is a boss who doesn't support where you want to go. And so if it were me and my wife was not supporting what I wanted to do, I would first try to have an empathetic conversation. I would first try to remove any kind of judgment and negativity, and have a conversation with my wife or her husband in this case and say, this is something that I really, really want to do, and explain how important it is, and try not to be on the offensive at all. Try not to attack at all. Try not to throw any judgment at him at all. Try not to say, you get to go off and do this thing and I get to stay at home and I hate my life. Or you never support me in any of the things that I'm trying. None of that. Because as soon as you attack, even if you're right, even if it's fully justified, as soon as you attack, you lose because you put him on the defensive. What you want is to come from a place of caring and understanding. Only talk about what you're going through and what you'd love help and support with. This is my dream. I really hate just being home by myself all day long. I have ambition. I want to be an artist. I want to be a creator. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to launch my own business. I think that if I don't get my chance to do it, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. And I really want some support to be able to help do this up. If you can bring it from that perspective, not attacking and coming from a vulnerable spot, then that's step number one. Just having that conversation. If at the end of the day, you've had that conversation maybe even a couple times and he's not listening and he's still not supporting you, then
yeah, I told her the same thing, and she told he's not at all listening to my words or my dad's or my brother's words.
I don't expect the dad or the brother to make a difference.
Okay.
I would still think about the conversation, and was there any kind of blaming or negativity or judgment against him? Because most people say they do it, but if you look at, like, listen to the conversation, they didn't. And so I really focus on, like, zero attacking of him, even if it's fully justified, because you're just going to put him on the defensive. But if it was, like, you've had that conversation multiple times and it's still not working out, then this is now a really important, tough decision you got to make, because how old is your friend right now?
She's of my age, like 25 or 26.
Okay, 25, 26. She's going to live, by the time she gets to the end, she's going to live for another 100 years. Right? Like, our lives are getting longer. She's got 100 years left. She's got 100 years of this coming up. And is that the life that she wants? That forces a hard decision, whether she wants to stay in that relationship or not. It's a tough one. But the worst thing in life, I think, is being with a partner who doesn't support you. If she feels less than, then she will feel less than her entire life.
Like, I also advise the same thing, but like, she's telling me, like, I'm afraid of other relationship, like going into other relationship or a remarriage or something else like that. So
yeah,
she told me.
Making a decision out of fear is never the right decision. Making decisions because you're afraid to do something else is not the right path. And some people may judge her. Some people may judge her for being divorced or or getting out of a relationship. But that's still better than being in the wrong relationship for the next 100 years, right? And so I think sometimes people have a hard time being able to see the bigger perspective, right? It's easy to stay in the relationship because there's another day and one more day and one more day. But then those days add up, and fast forward, you're already 40 years into this relationship, and you just hate your life even more. And so if she compounds, that's what I try to do. Whenever I'm afraid to make a decision, I imagine what would happen if I didn't take action for the next 50 years. Like, she's got 100 more years of this happening. 100 more years of this relationship. And it's likely just going to get worse. And so she's not able to live for her life or do the things that she wants to do ever. Right? So, like, she's a slave for the rest of her life. That's what's going to happen. And so that's what I do to myself. I just make it so painful that then it forces me to do the thing that I'm afraid to do. And that people may hold it against her. Divorce is a lot more common than it used to be. I don't know about the cultural differences, and it may be more difficult in her culture than here.
In India, it's like difficult.
Yeah, it's real. But what's the alternative? You're a slave for the next 100 years.
Yes.
So I would do my best to make the relationship work. I would do my best to have those honest conversations, the non-judgmental. Like, if you are coming from that place, like if your friend's coming from that place of just being absolutely vulnerable and saying, like, this is just really important to me, and I feel like I'm going to hate my life forever if I don't get my chance to go off and do this thing, and he's not supportive of that, I don't know how you want to be with that person for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know how you live that life forever. It's crazy. You're a slave for the rest of your life. And so I would much rather be alone than be a slave. I'd much rather never have a relationship again than be somebody's slave. And there will be somebody who will support her, who may also be divorced, who also wants to not be the typical Indian couple. There are those people. But I would still much rather be by myself than be in a bad relationship. And so maybe fast forwarding the next 100 years, imagining this is going to be your life, might add enough pressure onto it, because most people don't do that, and they end up in a crappy relationship, and they end up hating their life forever, and they feel like they can't get out.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. I feel for you. I feel for your friend. I hope it helps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Tough situation. I think, especially with relationships, you get to pick. Like, you can't pick your parents. You're born into your parents. Your parents may support you. They may not support you. Either way, you can still win. But you get to pick who you're with. Right? You get to pick. I talked about this at the start of the session. You get to pick who you run your path with, both from a personal relationship, like the person you're going to marry, but also just from people you pick on your team, friends you want to hang out with, the boss that you end up connecting with. You get to pick the people that you run with in life. And I think picking your life partner is one of the most important decisions you can make. And you don't need somebody who necessarily understands what you do or is in your industry or wants to do the same thing. But I think it's an absolute must to have somebody who believes in you and who supports you on the path that you want to go down. I don't know how you end up in a happy life if the life partner that you have is not supportive of your ambitions and your dreams. I don't know. I don't think it's possible. Anyway, good luck. Thank you for the love. PT Fit, so many people don't realize how blessed we are to live in North America. 100%. I think culture is definitely shifting, but 100%. And I think, here's what I think. I think the people in North America need to definitely be more grateful, super grateful for the opportunities you have. Like, just being born in Canada, I'm grateful for every day. I love this country. I think it's the best country in the world. And if you're not born in Canada, if you're born in India, or you're born in whatever country that you feel is limiting, don't let that be your story. Like, yeah, it's more difficult, but what are your options? Give up? Be a slave forever? Like, it's easier than it was 50 years ago in India. It's easier than it was 100 years ago in India. It's easier than your grandparents had in India, and it's only getting easier. I think too many people just give up and they blame their circumstances, where you have the opportunity every day to change it. There are lots of people who have done it, and you can too. If they can do it, you can too. You just have to believe in yourself and start taking action. It's going from the shift of how am I ever going to do this to how am I ever going to do this. Same words, just different tonality, different beliefs.